The act of doing that, breaking that the inhibition process, breaking the stimulus and response, the body's craving 20 years or 10 years of frustration. Think of the time in your life that, and it's trying to reproduce that chemical. So this takes an enormous amount of energy, an enormous amount of awareness to be able to free the body from the chains of the past. Stress response is what the body innately does to return itself back to order. Okay, well, all biological organisms can tolerate short-term stress. A zebra gets chased by the lion, it outruns the lion, it goes back to grazing and eating, and it goes back into balance, right? But when you turn on the stress response and you can't turn it off, now you're headed for disease, because no organism can live in emergency mode for that extended period of time. Now, human beings, because of the size of the frontal lobe, we can turn on the stress response just by thought alone. If you're forecasting some future worst case scenario based on the past, and you're actually imagining that future unfolding, your body as the objective mind begins to feel the emotion of that future before it happens. And now you're conditioning your body to become the mind of anxiety, the mind of fear, right? And again, thought and a feeling, image, emotion, stimulus, response. The body's being conditioned into fear. Okay, so now you say to that person, why are you this way? And they'll say, I am this way because of these events that have happened to me 10 years ago. What they're really saying is, I had an event that's changed me biologically, and I have not been able to change since. Okay, so if you can turn on the stress response just by thought alone, and those chemicals, hormones of stress, are addictive, the arousal, you can become addicted to your own thoughts, and this is why it's hard to change. Well, if the long-term effects of the hormones of stress push the genetic buttons and create disease, that's a fact, and you can turn on the stress response just by thought alone, your thoughts can make you sick. And so when you tell a person that and they go, oh my God, you ask them, if your thoughts can make you sick, is it possible that your thoughts can make you well? And so we did a study where we just took people and we said, trade frustration, trade impatience, trade resentment for heart-centered emotion. Let's hook you up to an HRV and let's have you practice. Get really good at feeling appreciation, gratitude, kindness, care. Let's get you in that state. Is it possible then that you can upregulate the proteins for your immune system and downregulate the secretion of cortisol? And the amount of immunoglobulin A, which is a really important, natural flu shot for the body, went up 50% in the participants. So the body actually is believing it's living in an environment that's nurturing, right? And so